Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You're here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. Got a match for you today in the Tier 5 Japanese premium battleship, the Mutsu. May have been one of the first battleships in the game with torpedoes. And we're on Greece. We are down tier. No, we're top tier. Pardon. We are top tier in a domination match on Greece. Let's talk about the Mutsu, the second and last Nagato-class dreadnought battleship built for the Imperial Japanese Navy at the end of World War I. Participated in the Battle of Midway and the Battle of the Eastern Solomons. Mutsu didn't really see any significant combat. Now let's talk about the disaster involving the battleship Mutsu. Blah, blah, blah. 1943, June. The Mutsu exploded at anchor, splitting in half, taking the lives of over 1,100 sailors and visitors on board, including the captain. And they claim that human sabotage was the result of the explosion. Disgruntled sailor may be accused of petty theft, facing a court-martial. Could have been the responsible party. Speaking of a court-martial, I missed another Citadel hit. A lot of people on Reddit, someone asked about this ship. They said they used the range commander, and basically, if you get good RNG, the ship could be untouchable. If you get bad RNG, then you won't hit the broadside of a barn. I am using Arpeggio Haruna and doing a full secondary build in this video. But really quickly, going to WoW's builds. Damage record 280,004 by Dorimo. Base XP record 3850 by Dem Bones 993. So the Mutsu is capable of great games, at least at some point in its history here in World of Warships Legends. It does have two torpedo launchers. They're more towards the rear of the ship. We're going to light up that Aoba with a full salvo and then turn to avoid the island. And there is our first kill, ladies and gents. And we switch to he because there is an aviaire out there. And I need he to kill an aviaire, or at least any other destroyer in this game. Alright, just checking my surroundings. Like my teacher in Batman Begins said, always be mindful of your surroundings. I think there's another destroyer out to our... There it is, right there. That is a... looks like a Fubuki. So we got a lot of battleships over here. Now the Mutsu, I don't think anybody would ever say to themselves, boy, that Mutsu is really tough. No, they might talk about how it has large caliber guns, or how it has torpedoes, but I'm going to show you a little bit of survivability of the Mutsu here in what I call in the pocket. We are in the pocket of the enemy ships, and we are not really going to suffer a ton of damage. We light up the Aviaire with HE there. Here's the other destroyer, the Fubuki. So as you can see, I'm going backwards, forwards. Just doing what I got to do to survive. Secondary hits on Fubuki. Like I said, I am running a full secondary build. There was a big chunk of damage. Yikes. We're flooding. We quell the flood. And the front turrets get us killed number 2. And by moving forward, we dodge the entire torpedo salvo. Alright, what's out here? A Hyuga Winter Edition. A ship which I own and will never take out of my port. The original Hyuga is much better than the Hyuga Winter Edition. Take it from me, I own them both. Yeah, come on, Wargaming. That's stupid. Alright, Hyuga W, try and run away there. We'll just throw some shells his way. New Mexico over here, moving into the cap. And I'm still cognizant that the Aviaire is out here as well. And I do have a destroyer up alongside me. It looks like I have a battleship or maybe a battleship and a cruiser behind me at the back of the cap. So I'm not alone anymore after we took out some of those enemy ships. Oh, I thought I had the opportunity for a kill pinch there in the New Mexico, but he is already dead before I can move forward. So Huga is running away. He's at the back of the map. We do have he loaded, and I'm going to use my he against Javier once we clear this island. All guns, full salvo. The secondaries are going off. We're just going to shoot into the ether, folks. Kill number 3. All right. All right, so while we're dodging some more torpedoes and while we are eyeballing the Huga out there, yes, we totally dodged, I am going to tell you a little bit about the stats of this ship. All right, Sigma value 1.80. Go to wiki.wargaming.net. HE shell velocity 805 meters per second. AP shell velocity 790 meters per second. Even gives the shell weights on here. I don't know if the shell weight is really something important enough for me to tell you. All right, we're shooting at the California. Big splishy splashy over there, didn't do a whole lot. Going back to WoW's builds, fires per minute 1.88. The overmatch of the armor piercing 410 millimeters. It's 29 millimeters to overmatch, 68 millimeters to arm. Keep that in mind if you were shooting a broadside opponent. And torpedo reaction time for the enemy 8.1 seconds. All right, we damaged the California some more, but he got taken out by somebody else. We are really low on health. And we've still got a very healthy Huga out there. So, since we're going to recover a little bit of health in about 20 seconds, it will be very interesting. There are only 2 ships left, so as many chances as I've had to get a Kraken in this game, we're still looking. We are still looking. 3 kills. There is a Citadel hit. The Huga does tons of damage in return. We got 1 shell for a Citadel, and the Huga messed me all up. We are going to engage this last heal. And running with scissors, our legendary skill kicked in. And we're going to try, I think, to turn and get some shells off. Aiming at the front bow plate of Huga. We do get a hit there. And I'm desperately turning, knowing that I am probably sacrificing my own life to get a torpedo off. And our secondaries do kick in. They are engaging Huga, and I'm desperately trying to turn one way or the other. And we get killed. And we're just going to go into torpedo cam. Here we are in torpedo cam, folks. And we're going to take out the Huga right here. It's just a flesh wound. Kill number 4. All right. While we are waiting for the last ship to die, hopefully it doesn't do it right away. Let's talk about our stats selection hit points. Huga number 1 at the tier, 60,700. Mutsu number 2, 58,400. 100 hit points out of California. If you build it for range, Fuso number 1 at the tier by half a kilometer at 16.7. The Mutsu is tied for what looks like really 5th place, but it's number 7 at 15.8 kilometers for the main battery range. AP DPM, Fuso number 1, 262, 286. Mutsu number 10, 198,400, tied with the Weavy. Rudder shift, Huga has the worst at 15 seconds. Mutsu's kind of towards the bottom, 13.7 seconds again, tied with the Weavy. Sea detectability, Fuso the worst, 14.9. Mutsu the second worst, 14.6. That is your stat comparison for the Mutsu. All right, we're getting into the gloaming of the evening here. Sorry I couldn't get a video up for you yesterday, Wednesday. I was at a National Night Out event on Tuesday and that would have been the time which I had to record, so I did not have that. Anyway, that is the end of the match. I will try to put up a match this weekend, maybe of that new Tier 2 ship. It's free if you have Game Pass Ultimate. All right, here we are on my favorite screen, the victory screen. 1 medal, it's just a flesh wound, a lot of progress ribbons. We ended up with 85,218 total damage. 4 big kills, including 1 via torpedo strike, a couple Citadel hits, and 4 fires. We ended up with 308,679 silver, 6246 ship XP, 6452 commander XP in the Mutsu. And here we are at the top of the board, 2287 base XP, 1 medal, 4 big kills, leading the way for our team by getting in the pocket with this big caliber guns Japanese battleship. If you use it as a secondary ship like I do, your mileage may vary. All right, secondary battery mod 2, I think. Damage control system mod 2. And looking at the consumables, 3 charges of the repair party. They don't really repair a lot. And 3 charges of the enhanced secondary targeting consumable. Pardon me, I had a hiccup there. You know, if you built it for range, then you would want to use the spotter plane. All right, we got the Type 9 permanent camouflage and the Marine Day 22 flag. All right, looking at the specs, 58,400 hit points and a 22% torpedo damage reduction with our build. Got those 4 twin 410mm turrets, 15.8 kilometer firing range, 30-second reload, 33 1/3 second turn time. HE shells, 6,500 max damage with a 30% fire chance. AP shells, 12,400 max damage. 2 sets of secondaries with our build. The range is 6.3 kilometers. The first set of 4x2 127s reloads every 4 seconds. 2,100 HE shell max damage with an 8% fire chance. The second set of 20 individual 140mm guns reloads every 6.4 seconds. 2,400 HE shell damage with a 10% fire chance. So I'm not saying this ship is best built as a secondary thing, but that's just how I decided to do it. You got 4 individual torpedo launchers. The reload time is 21 seconds. Max damage looks like 10,833. 7 kilometer range at 57 knots. The detectability is 1,200 meters. Or you could be like a guy I know who put a destroyer commander in this thing. But if that's how you want to roll, go for it. You know. All right. AA defense. Not very great here. Of course, the ship way in the past, before they realized what AA meant. Your first set of secondaries, is your longest ranging and most damaging AA. Maximum speed, 26.5 knots. 770 meter turning circle, 12.3 second rudder shift time. Concealment, 14 on the surface, yikes. 11.7 from the air, 14.2 when firing in smoke. Let's take a look at the stats. I have a terrible winning percentage in this ship. Main battery accuracy, 29%. That's why I built it out as a secondary focus ship. All right. Most of our kills via the main guns do have 7 kills via torpedo. This was our best game in terms of ships killed. Our best damage game looks like 108,677. And our best max AP game, 3,233. I think those were in the same game, and I think that was a video that got deleted when my archive was unceremoniously dumped by my computer, so I apologize for that. All right, here's a look at the Citadel. You know, the Japanese like their weird citadels, and so this one kind of a little bit above the waterline, maybe a little bit of a turtleback action in the front there. I can't swear to that. Especially vulnerable from the air between the turrets. Turrets and barbettes, standard for Japan, slant face to the turrets. Turret's side armor and barbette armor is generally pretty good at each tier. Putting the bow back on, There's no armor belt, 25 millimeter bow. You can see that there. Armor belt going to the front of the ship. Here in the casemate, you can see you have an armor belt that goes up to 305. Yep. And then you got 229 elsewhere. Torpedo protection down under the water doesn't really offer a lot there. And superstructure armor is what it is. Here is our commander, fully maxed out. Arpeggio Haruna. Base trait Overwhelm. Increases the secondary gun range and decreases the dispersion. Really a must-have for a secondary build. We got Hans Geisler for reload time. And we got Franz von Hipper for an increase in range and an increase in shell grouping. Your mileage may vary. You probably don't need Geisler in there. Row 1, Floating Fortress, unique skill for Arpeggio Haruna. Decreases torpedo damage and reduces incoming citadel damage. Row 2, Porcupine, you can see what it does there. Row 3, Firefighter. Row 4, Properly Meticulous. And we just went all in on the secondary build. And our ledgers go running with scissors for this build. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, hit that like button. I'll see you on the next one.